Another crazy week in the market this week. I'm going to cover Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, touch on the overall market, finish off with Campbell's. This is Brent with Enlightened Trades. Today is June 13th, 2026. About a week ago, a little over a week ago, I posted a video. I was traveling. I've been traveling, and it was on the Bitcoin crash. And so I want to review what I saw, why I saw what I saw, and then just tell you where I think we're going, and just kind of give you an overall picture. Again, this is going to be a short video, hopefully, and we'll get right to it. So, what you're looking at right now is the three charts: Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP. We'll kind of just not worry about XRP right now, because I want to just talk about Ethereum and Bitcoin. So, what I saw is, and I released this video a few weeks ago, when we shortly after we had, so it was right after May 6th. um, we had this right here is what is called a precision swing point, right? So where I marked it here in the red candle or the red arrow. So this day on Bitcoin was a green day. This day was a red day. Now, the reason that, because you'll find these random candles certain places, but it ended up marking a high, and in that high ended up being within the 2 spot deviation, right, from the previous low, on both Ethereum and XRP. Another notable thing that I noticed was that earlier in April 17th, we had a high, and so Ethereum had a lower high and Bitcoin had a higher high, right? So this is a divergence between two correlating assets, right? That is called an SMT. So an SMT combined with a precision swing point right there is a very good sign that we're going to go down, okay? So what I did is we're going to jump to the broad market here, just the bigger chart. What I did is I pulled a standard deviation from this high to the previous swing low, and what do we get? We got the 2 spot standard deviation, 2 to 2.5 spot standard deviation here. So that's always the first target is the 2 to 2.5 spot standard deviation. And then the next spot would be the 4 to 5 spot deviation, right? So we hit the 2 spot. And remember a few weeks ago, this is why I marked this yellow box, is I was saying that I believe that wherever the bottom is, it will be in this box. And not only by price, but I also was believing that it would be here by time, right? So we're dang close, right? The very last day, November, I was thinking November 4th or 5th. November 5th, it was the day so far that we hit the low. And our low right now is here at 59, 480, 65. Okay. I was surprised that we didn't take out this low at 58,901. Okay. Because I actually did think we were going to sweep that low, but we didn't. So, and then I guess my prediction is, although I don't like to predict stuff, but my prediction then is that over the next 70 days, we'll end up topping somewhere here before we have some kind of low, some kind of down. But now, since we've kind of made a double bottom here, I think that me personally, I think that we'll at least take out this previous high, and then when we do come down, we might come down and retest these highs. Okay, so Bitcoin, that's what we did. In Ethereum, though, we did something interesting. Okay, in Ethereum, again, we hit the 2 spot here. I pulled a standard deviation from the 2 spot to the most recent low, which is quite, not that low compared to Bitcoin. But we went to the 4 spot, right, on Ethereum. We took out that low. Now the algorithm, I mentioned this before. The algorithm is set up so that it seeks liquidity. Okay, so taking out the quarter one low was important. Are we now? We're within the 4 to 5 spot on both the previous all-time high and this newest high on this quarter, and we're within both of those. So, and even extended below this 4 to 5, and then within the order block. Okay, the monthly order block. So, can it go lower? Well, of course, anything can happen. The next two liquidity spots that it has not taken out is at 1385 and 1369. So could it go lower? Well, it could. We shall see. Now, if it does go lower, it might be after the first of this next quarter. My personal thought is it probably won't, but it could. Now, on Bitcoin, I am surprised again that we didn't take out this low. So we could see one more leg down within this quarter or the beginning of next quarter. Take it out and then move on up. I think though that we're ready for some kind of relief rally. As you can see, we're on the daily RSI, we're really low. Let's go to the weekly. Let me get rid of this here. Let's check. Okay. So this is interesting, right? So we have a divergence. Can't quite see it. Let me just get rid of all this lipstick right here. So there's a divergence here from this low to this low. And if you look down here, when I turn this back on, we have a higher low. So the divergence on the RSI. That's a good news. That is a sign that we're going higher. How about Bitcoin? So Bitcoin, we still have this low here. Right, as you can see, oh, this is Ethereum. Sorry, that was in Bitcoin. Sorry, guys, that wasn't Bitcoin. Okay, so let's go to Ethereum. So we do have this low way down here, and no, this. Oh well, this is okay. So between this point and 20, we have a divergence here too. So that's interesting. Okay, good sign that we probably are going up. Okay, let's just look at the monthly RSI. Okay, how about Ethereum? Oh, that's Ethereum. How about Bitcoin? Monthly RSI. Yeah, not quite there on the monthly, but the weekly is probably the most important one on the RSI because the monthly with the asset that's this young. I know Bitcoin seems like it's old now, but it's still a fairly young one. It's hard to get any monthly readings, right? Okay, so let's go back to today. Okay, this week. So I think there's good signs. There's good signs that we have put in a bottom. Okay, hit the time frame that I was expecting. On the Ethereum, we hit the 4 spot. On Bitcoin, we hit the 2 spot, and RSI reading. There's a divergence on RSI, but it's also heavily oversold. Right on the daily, this might be the lowest reading that we've ever had on Ethereum. So that tells you something, right? Oversold conditions. Okay. So if that is the case, right, where are we going to go? Well, if this was the low, I mentioned before, the next swing high is there. So then the first spot that we have, because it's either the algorithm does this, it's either going to be the 2 spot or liquidity that it's going to stop at, right? So the two spot now, I mean, if unless we get another low, now we could get another low and then we'd have to reevaluate. Okay, but if we went off of this current low, standard deviation, right, from here to there, the two spot is up here at 116, right? But the the closest liquidity is right here. Cover is on quarter one. High is at 97,855. So that's our first stop. Okay. Now it might take a little while for it to build some kind of base, right? But I would expect soon into the next quarter, we might have a quick swipe and then we're off to the races, right? But soon, and we're up at 64,000 today. So I mean we're making some progress, but we should start to see some aggressive price action going on the upside um, between these two assets. Okay. I did not pull a standard deviation on Ethereum. Let's do that and see where we're going to end up. So we got this low and we go to this high right there. Okay. Our quarter one high, let's mark that while we're here, is right there. Okay. So our first stop is 3,399. And then the next stop would be the two spot, which is 37.15. Okay. All right. Now let's go to XRP. I did draw on XRP. So our first stop really is at 230, and then 241 is the previous quarter's high. The four spots at 388, which would take out the previous two highs and the all-time high, XRP. Okay. Now again, okay, Bitcoin and Ethereum might have already bottomed. Sometimes altcoins take a little longer. So it is possible that XRP, makes another swipe down. Okay. On our side, again, we're way oversold. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, the weekly divergence on the weekly here. So we might have the bottom in. I do have some orders again at 96.68 just in case. I have been my bags are full with XRP. You can see my cost basis is down at 70, but even at these levels on a weekly basis, I just buy more XRP. Right? It's not a lot, but because my bags are pretty full. But while it's down here at this price, I just keep dollar cost averaging into these spots. Okay, so that's my targets on the upside for XRP. Let me just go back to the daily. Again, yeah, we're just kind of we're building a base, guys. We're building a base. Okay, building a base here. All right, let's go over to the overall market here. We had some crazy days this week in the overall market. And the interesting thing is, I'll just tell you, this is interesting. Look at like on the S&P, there are some significant days, right? Like we have, essentially that was 900. Oh, sorry, on the ES, yeah, 230 handle day. Then we had another 148 handle day. It's crazy, and then up. But this is what I want to point out, and it's just weird, just an observation. The VIX was up, but really not. I would have expected the VIX in this kind of environment to skyrocket, and I mean it went up, but it didn't. It was really weird. So the VIX, I would say, just to observation, right? The VIX didn't take off, but the ATR for the NQ, the ATR, the average true range on the 1 minute, uh, for many of these days, right? The ATR was above 60 for most of the trading day. So on the 2 minute, right? So sorry, on the 2 minute, which is just, it's crazy. And it maintained that ATR for most of the trading period. So to have an ATR that high, but the VIX, you know, not really move was interesting. Just an observation. Um, okay, so what we have here on the broader market, here we had a high. The highest high that we had was on June 1st for ES, and then the highest high that we had for NQ was on June 3rd, right? Excuse me, I'm sorry, on June 3rd. So where are we going? Well, we're kind of in no man's land right now, to be honest with you. Okay, this this right here, I like to mark the body closed, but I'm just gonna change colors here. Um, well, let's make it red. Okay. Make one right here too. This is interesting because technically this was a red candle here. I'll make two of them. That wasn't not a swing low, although that is a swing low. But okay, so right here, essentially, market structure shift, right? So we had a market structure shift right here. I know a lot of people go to the end of the candle, and that's fine. The reason I mark the the body is because this technically this is called the optimal trade entry. But the other thing I want to point out, though, on both of these is that we have a fair value gap right there and a fair value gap right there. Okay, so the NQ has hit that value, fair value gap. Now, why are we in no man's land? Well, if on a daily, if we come up and we close above this fair value gap on either of these, then it's invalidated, right? The market structure shift is invalidated. And so that means we're going up, right? Um, so what do we do? Well, we'll just have to wait. You know, we're kind of in a no man's land. The other thing is we already hit the 2 spot standard deviation from the top on the ES, but on the NQ we have not. 2 spots right there. Okay. There's no fair value gap on the YM. Okay. So we shall see. We'll just have to wait. You're just gonna have to wait. It's hard to make any strong decisions going in because this could have just been a quick pullback before we make new highs. And on RT, we did make new highs. So it's a little crazy. Okay, moving on. Let's go. So we're at 20 minutes right now. Got to finish this up. Let's go back here. Covered everything that I wanted. Now let's cover Campbell's. So on May 26th, I put out a Campbell's alert, and I got in here right after it closed over, or as it was closing over the 21-day moving average. So my cost basis on this is right there, 20. I'm so sorry, 2059. This chart looks really good, by the way. We are up currently, we're up, I guess, right now about 10%. I will take some profit when it hits the 2 spot, which is 23.95, and that's about 16% up. I do want to show you something that's interesting. So this is Campbell's. I sometimes I use Thinkorswim just because sometimes it's just more accurate. TradingView kind of messes up the just how the charts look, but again, we had a divergence here with the RSI and price. Volume, look at the spike in volume here. Look at the spike in volume was great. As we're coming down, people are buying this. Another way to tell that is on the accumulation, right? Over the last few weeks, we've had accumulation going up. So accumulation going up, right? And then on the CCI, we're above the 100. Oh, by the way, this is on the weekly. So this is pretty amazing, right? We just crossed over on the MACD. Let's go to the daily. Same thing. We've been above the hundreds on the CCI. We got some right accumulation. We are a little oversold on the RSI for the daily, but still high volume. So it's looking great. Looking great. I want to show you one other thing on Campbell's. The expected move on Campbell's is the expected move at Campbell's. So the expected move in Thinkorswim is a great tool. It uses the amount of open interest and options, and it calculates from that, and it's really accurate. This tool is amazing. If you guys have Thinkorswim, this is a very, very cool tool. It's very accurate. You'd be surprised how often it on a lot of this it hits, right? So the expected move is at 23.59, right? What did I say? My take profit is at 23.59. So I'm hoping this week we will see a boost, hit the 2 spot. I'll get out. I'll get out like 60 to 75%, just depending on. I already have my orders in, but if it's looking pretty good, I might just change it to 60% and then let it ride. We'll see. But at a minimum, I'll take profit at 23.59. My next profit taking is at 26.88. The last quarter high is at 29, right? So I could, you can split that up, take profit here, 25, maybe 60. You have 20, and then the last 20% here, however you like it. Okay. All right. That's it for today. If you want me to cover any stocks or crypto, send it in to me, text me, call me, whatever, and we'll get it covered. Thanks, everybody. Love you all. Have a great day. Bye.
This has been a production of Enlightened Trades.